Rock Band is decidedly different from Guitar Hero in that in its shipping disc, it is not a guitar-only game. And a lot of people like are being split not because all the guitars are compatible with all the different games. Like, which one do I go with if I just want the solo experience, or are you going for the like social experience? Which Rock Band is, and it's a social game. Some of the songs are, you know, when you're playing single player just with the guitar, aren't that fun. But songs that aren't that fun to play just on guitar by yourself are still intensely satisfying to play when you're in the context of an entire group.
Yeah. At first you're like, oh yeah, I get to play these songs I usually like to listen, and then by the 50th song you're trying to break in, you're like, oh my god, I'm bored to tears because I'm just singing, or I'm waiting for a guitar solo, or I'm just doing like cowbell like this. But once those, you know, when those songs come up on career mode, I was like, oh god. But then when we all played together, I was like, yeah, it's the crazy song, and it's like so much more fun and so much more rewarding.
In the career mode, you pretty much are going down a set list of songs like Guitar Hero, play. But in the World Tour mode, it's like a whole different game. You're going to like choosing your gigs. You can ask your manager for advice, like Madden style. There's like all these different little quirks that make the career mode more interesting. But none of that. The single player is almost like an afterthought, just playing through lists of songs as each instrument. But all that stuff only comes together in the social experience.
In its initial like disc form, like before if the downloadable content lives up to like theoretically, like they release stuff every week, you can customize it to the guitar game that you want,
right.
Like, or the drum game that you want. Like if like it's literally an iTunes a la carte store like they're promising, it will be irrelevant with a month after. Like, you should be able to customize the experience. But as it is now, if you're playing one instrument, unless it's the drums, it's really hard to recommend like Rock Band, especially when the entrance fee is $170.
Yeah. Let's say all the downloadable content goes really well, and say they have famous bands or they have indie bands. Like, this might be a new way to experience music. Like, instead of like, oh, I'm just gonna download from iTunes because I like the song, now I'm gonna download through whatever I have and sing it or drum to it or play it. Yeah. And that's so much more, I don't know, immersive than just listening to it. But you're like, you can like fucking experience that.
How do you guys feel about the actual physical instruments so far?
Well, I mean, I'm actually one of the few in the office that actually far prefers the Rock Band guitar. I like it. I mean, it still has the really chintzy whammy bar, which is actually broken. Everything other than that, like, I like the fact that there is no gap in between any of the buttons. I like the fact that they're close together. And the solo buttons, which take a lot of adjusting to because you have to move all the way down.
Can you use it though? Because I just couldn't do it.
Really?
I mean, like, by the time I actually learned to go down there for a solo and position my fingers enough, then by the time I actually do that in a solo, the solo is like halfway over, and when I get to the end, it's so hard to get back up here in time and do it. I mean, I kind of like in Guitar Hero 2, when I go and reset my fingers up to the top, having these more tangible like buttons that your fingers are resting on.
It's one of those things that you can't just jump into, but I can see that like sitting down and figuring out like how to use that in normal play would be intensely satisfying. But it's a huge learning curve.
I don't think it's worse necessarily. I'm still adjusting though. It's just been tough to adjust after playing so much Guitar Hero for so long, going to this where it's like a whole different feel.
Well, that's what we were talking about, is like the unfortunate part about the fact that the Rock Band guitar doesn't work in Guitar Hero 3 is that if you're gonna, like, the experience of playing high level play on both of these guitars, like the Guitar Hero 3 or Guitar Hero 2 or Rock Band guitars, like, it's very different. And the difference of having a spacing between your fingers are not, like, if I go back and try to play Guitar Hero 3, like, I cannot do it on that guitar because I'm too used to the Rock Band guitar.
Right.
Whereas, like, you were talking about how you were failing songs in Rock Band, as soon as you hooked in the Guitar Hero 2 guitar, you know, you were doing fine.
Yeah.
And that's just, you kind of need to pick. Like, people are gonna have to pick which controller they want to use, because unless you're just dicking around with, like, medium and maybe hard, you're not gonna be able to play expert and just swap between the two guitars.
In terms of equipment, I can't really say much. It's standard sort of microphone, but the vocals from Rock Band's a lot more like SingStar. Feels a little bit more accurate than Character Revolution in terms of like, well, basically singing is just pitch and timing, and the pitch is very, very exact. And you can, you know, when we were practicing, I would sometimes have to sing an octave higher or lower because it was either, you know, Chris Cornell or Karen from the AAS, but compared to, say, SingStar, there's the sort of the rap meter, and it's just instead of pitch, it's all timing, how you space your
So that's
rap
the one,
words.
like-
Some of the songs that feature that is Epic by Faith No More that has all that rap sections in the beginning.
Can you feel it, see it, hear it today? If you can't, then it doesn't matter anyway. You will never understand because it happens too fast. And it feels so good, it's like walking on glass. It's so cool, it's hip, it's so right. It's so groovy, it's out of sight.
You know, not only do you have to learn what songs sound like, you have to learn how the rappers sound like, because they're going to judge you on that. So I would say Sing aspect's a little bit more like SingStar, the recent SingStars, than Character Revolution. But it's fun. I can't believe they can jam all of the play data on one screen, like of all 4 players.
Yeah, and it works, and it's not intrusive, and it's in all, it's all scrolling at the same time. And I think the presentation of Rock Band is just so much superior and just so much cooler for the experience.
Yeah,
But-
and you actually appreciate things like the character creation and the whole
Right.
like background. That it feels really cool, like lip syncing with the characters on screen, which seems like it's a little thing, but it, like you're saying, the presentation is really well done in this, and you actually like appreciate it as part of this whole package.
Sail on a distant highway, yeah.
The other big thing for this one is the drums, and drums are very difficult off the bat, and like that's in our competition, that's been like, Nelson on drums has been like what's been really helping us, because drums are the most difficult instrument to learn, and you can't fake them.
It looks effortless, and Nelson's a genius on drums to begin with, and watching him play is like so effortless. But when I try, like I just, I'm like a robot.
Also, I think kind of the thing that they spent the most time on in the game, because like the fills are really fun. Just these big gaps, you can play whatever you want as long as you like end on green, the symbol. It just kind of works really well, and in all the songs, I guess just because of the nature of music, there's always the beat going on, so you're always
Right.
doing something. I think the drums are of all just kind of the most satisfying individual instrument, and something that they obviously wanted to get right.
Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, or rain. Can be like they are. Come on, baby, baby, take my hand. We'll be able to fly. Baby, I'm your man.
When you play online multiplayer, which is something we've started experimenting with basically just now because of the Rock Band competition that's going on, if you could get like 2 sets of friends, like maybe if you had a group of friends back home and a group of friends here that wanted to play, like it is fun, like when you've got everyone like huddled around watching one instrument go against one instrument and watching the score battle like go on, but really like online playing these games is like not a compelling feature to me at all. Like it was sort of fun when we did it in that scenario, but I don't think I'm going to use it at all, like when I plug it in back home. Like,
Well, also because they're saying that now, at least at launch, you can't go through the World Tour mode online.
I don't think most people know you can't do is that you can't sing online as a band. When you do the singing, competitively, it's just, you don't hear the voice. It's because it'll sound like shit when you hear it like come through like the Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network. It's not meant for that kind of bandwidth, and so at this point, I believe, and as long as the downloadable content, as is promised, works how it's supposed to, like I'm going to buy Rock Band over Guitar Hero just because it, like the music in Rock Band, like New Pornographers, the Pixies, like the Weezer songs they chose, like it gels more with what I want from the game, and it doesn't bother me that it's not the complete guitar experience that Guitar Hero is, because that's not what I want anymore. Like after playing Rock Band, yeah, and having people to play with and being able to do that, like just being in the office, like we're not even like, this game's made to come back from the bars and be drunk as hell and like just act like retards, and it's just these social experiences what I want out of this now, and like having played Rock Band and played the crap out of it, like I'm a believer in the social experience over the singular guitar experience, but wouldn't blame anyone for not wanting to do that, especially if they don't have friends that are into that sort of stuff.